everybody was bullish commodities and open interest was going down, and the Bitcoin was going down, but open interest was going up. I'm like, well, that's not going to last. And Bitcoin bounced and commodities went down. Now the point is, we've had that bounce. We've bounced 100% from the lows, and now everybody's bullish, and the fundamentals might be tilting the other way. I look at it as, okay, buy low, sell high. But as far as that, the key thing I think with the smart people are doing, Alex, you're involved in this, is probably buying dips, adding longs in Bitcoin, and selling everything else. I mean, look what happened on Friday. We saw that little move in Bitcoin, and we lifted some of those shorts and some of those positions in the alts. I see this as the IRS is coming after you.
Bullish Bitcoin investors are preparing for the seasonal surge, as the world's largest cryptocurrency tends to rally during the month of July. Over the last decade, Bitcoin has gained an average of more than 11% in the month of July, with 7 out of 10 months showing positive returns. Bitcoin prices remain above the $30,000 mark amidst challenges linked to the coming economic recession. Bloomberg's senior macro strategist Mike McGlone sheds light on the trajectory of Bitcoin in the coming weeks and discusses the market indicators to watch for. While summer tends to be a period of consolidation for Bitcoin, a strong July tends to be followed by a mediocre August and a sell-off in September. McGlone expects Bitcoin to rally towards $35,000 before selling off, but he does predict another move higher to $40,000 directly after. In this latest interview, McGlone dives into his Bitcoin prediction for 2023 and how commodities are taking a hit in the last half of the year. Let's get right into the interview with Mike McGlone as he discusses what we can expect in the crypto and stock market in Q3 and 4. Don't forget to share your thoughts and comments down below, and leave a like if you enjoy the content we do here. Let's get right into the video.
Bitcoin right now is basically 2 times the annual volatility of Bitcoin is basically 2 times that of the NASDAQ. When it first reached the current ratio versus the NASDAQ, about 4 and change or so, that was 6 years ago, and it was 8 times, almost 9 times the volatility. So here's what's happening. Bitcoin is mainstream. Yes, now finally we're going to be able to push a button, and there'll be less leverage going in. Your long-term accumulation people going and buying in. I do fully expect it's going to get to 100,000 eventually, but ask yourself this: is this going to happen with the tide going out in the equity market, which I expect? Been wrong. Alex, you're right. I've been wrong, but you got to be careful pointing out your views. You're long Bitcoin based on what happened to Bitcoin, what's going to happen to it now. I'm pointing out the facts is it's going into the mainstream fastly. It's squashing the volatility. Remember the spreads we saw? What's the last big vestige of that is GBTC. I fully still am bullish GBTC because it's going to narrow that spread. But what's happening is all that cash and carry that was in futures, that was seeing people saying, oh, you didn't get a good leverage, and it's still way too expensive to trade in futures. It's getting squashed fast. This ETF is going to just bring it more in the mainstream. And yes, maybe I fully agree with all the big picture stuff that I've been writing about for years, the digital version of gold. Yeah, get all that stuff. We got to stop saying that because we're long. Let's focus on the more immediate. What's the issue here is we are heading towards a recession. Yes, right. Been hearing it for long. I get it. Been wrong. But what's happening since it hasn't happened? The Fed's tightening more. We have to expect the yield curve not to matter. You look at Fed funds versus 30-year, it's the steepest, and the probability of recession from the New York Fed is the highest since 1982. Yes, maybe that stuff doesn't matter. So good luck with that one. But if you ask David Rosenberg, he said the one indication he always watches if he was on a desert island, the only thing he'd care about was the yield curve. It's the thing lesson I learned trading treasuries in the 80s. Just never fade the yield curve. So here's the key thing I want to ask you is,
well, it's at historic lows here.
Exactly.
Sub 1%.
So,
yeah.
But why is that? Because of recessions, it's the lose-lose. Because it hasn't happened as fast as some of us kept the tightening. If the stock market was flat in the year, do you think the Fed would still be tightening? Probably not, but it's not. So that's the lose-lose. They're just going to keep doing it. So here's a question I want to end with. I completely agree with that. I'm bullish Bitcoin long-term. I think it's going higher, but I think it's more likely to sustain and maybe print below 20 than sustain above 40 if I'm right about the equity market going down and our whole economics team is right. The key question I want to ask is, so it's the same ratio right now at about 4.7 versus the NASDAQ. I'm sorry, 2 point. Yeah, it's 2, just double the NASDAQ. And it first traded at 2017. And if you look at it, only has popped up big when we had that massive pump in liquidity, and it's come back down. Now we're stuck here. Volatility is declining. It's coming in the mainstream. So I needed to outperform the NASDAQ, and so far it's Yeah, it's kind of on a 7-year basis. If you had bought the NASDAQ 7 years ago, you're doing the same thing. And the thing is, the difference about being long the NASDAQ, you got AI going for you, and you got the Fed going for you. Because if NASDAQ goes down, typically the Fed will help you. If Bitcoin goes down, the Fed doesn't care. I want to follow up with a very profound statement, and that is, I think most risk assets, cryptos and stock markets, are going to go down in 2H because they went up in 1H. Bottom line, that's it. It's going to be tough. But the thing is, think of the iterations. If we're sitting here in December and say the NASDAQ's down 10%, what's that going to feel like? What's we're going to think? That's going to be a true recession. What's the Fed going to be doing? And then this is where we just disagree, Alex. I completely respect your view that yield curve doesn't matter. My view is it matters more than ever. And I think the U.S. matters more than ever. And they have to ask yourself is, why is virtually every central bank on the planet scrambling to catch up to the Fed? Because the Fed matters more than ever now, except for one made country, China. Why are they easing or trying? It's all the narrative I hear is, oh, they got to add stimulus. And why? Because they're falling behind. Now, I have a colleague who's based in Sydney who looks more on-chain data that you watch more closely. The CME open interest is right about the all-time high. It's fully expected. There's a bull market. And that's one thing I really enjoyed pointing out last year when everybody was bullish commodities and open interest was going down. And the Bitcoin is going down, but open interest is going up. I'm like, well, that's not going to last. And Bitcoin bounced and commodities went down. Now the point is, we've had that bounce. We've bounced 100% from the lows. And now everybody's bullish, and the fundamentals might be tilting the other way. I look at it as, okay, buy low, sell high. But as far as that, the key thing I think the smart people are doing, Alex, you're involved in this, is probably buying dips, adding longs in Bitcoin and selling everything else. I mean, look what happened on Friday. We saw that little move in Bitcoin, and then we lifted some of those shorts and some of those positions in the alts. I see this as the IRS is coming after you. I mean, it's serious. We know this. I remember seeing this in the trading business. I had a brother who wasn't paying his taxes. They went to his account and cleared it out. You think there's people in cryptos all paying their taxes? I mean, Kraken was, they're going down to on Kraken today. I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to find out that a lot of the people who weren't paying taxes, all that information is going to be coming out. It's just logical. I mean, I've seen it so much when you can kind of get away with it for a short term and greed comes in there. So then I look at this 25,000 of them. That's massive purging, still way overdue in the broad space. Bitcoin's going to come out ahead, but the whole thing might go lower, just Bitcoin going less. It's just the key thing you have to ask yourselves. If I'm long cryptos and long Bitcoin now, what's my position? What's my view on the stock market for the second half? If you're bearish the stock market and you expect that divergence, yeah, good luck. Maybe, hopefully that'll happen. I've been hoping and waiting for that forever. And I still see, man, it's still trading like leveraged stock market. That's the way I look at it, except the rest of the space is trading like like more sellers on every rally.
Despite Bitcoin hovering around the $30,000 mark after getting a boost from the potential launch of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, McGlone warns that this won't shield the asset from its first US recession. US investors have been piling into Bitcoin as institutional activity accelerates, driving the recent rally of the largest cryptocurrency by market cap. BTC's price gains and trading volume have concentrated during US market hours recently and have been the main force behind Bitcoin's strength. Bitcoin has surged 85% so far this year, outperforming most of the crypto market. The price action has come as a massive amount of financial investors, including BlackRock, Fidelity, and Citadel, have become more involved with BTC, spurring investor optimism. BlackRock's initiative has also rejuvenated institutional activity on the Bitcoin market. This recent activity showcases an inflection point in crypto's institutional adoption. The next few weeks will be an indicator of the direction Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency more broadly, is headed in Q4. What do you think about Mike McGlone's recent Bitcoin prediction? And how do you see regulation and BlackRock's ETF approval affecting the crypto market in 2023? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next video.